had a coaching session just now with a pretty high-powered person, and they were talking to me about what's happening in their business. And it occurred to me, this person is an owner. They're not the majority owner, and they're not the original, they're not the founder of the company, but they are, they're the spouse of the founder of the company, and they are themselves an owner in the business. And it occurred to me that the way that this person was talking about their role, and there are changes that are happening in the company that are not this person's choosing, but they feel like they have to go along. And so it occurred to me that the way this person was talking about themselves was as though they are an employee and not an owner, and also not the spouse of the other owner and founder of the company. It was a very unempowered way of talking about themselves, and I kept bringing this up to the person, and I wasn't sure whether I should do it. I was nervous to do it because it's confronting, and this person doesn't want to face this particular aspect of themselves and of their relationship. So I doubted whether I should bring it up. I didn't want them to get offended. Maybe they won't want to work with me anymore. But I just decided that really was the only thing that was worth talking about. And it's not like they said, "Oh, I don't want to talk about this." So, I was on fair ground. If they had said, "Look, you're pushing into territory that's not welcome," I would have stopped. But they didn't say that. They just kind of kept avoiding the topic, and I kept bringing it back up to them, because every time they would start talking about other things, they would go back into this tone of subservience. And I wanted to make that clear to them. So it's probably going to take more than one coaching session, but I feel like we really touched on a key topic. It was my second session with the person, and it had been a while since the first session. And in the first session, I sensed something like this was going on, but there were other things happening, and we talked about a lot of other things. I didn't bring up this particular topic, but in this session, this person confirmed, just the way they were talking, confirmed my suspicion that they weren't fully valuing themselves. So I started delving into that with them, and it was a very gratifying coaching session, and it was a good coaching session. Now, whether they will think it was a good coaching session, or maybe they will be triggered by how personal it got, and maybe they'll be scared away. We'll see. Time will tell. But I went for what was true for me in that coaching session, and I'm glad I did. It's risky on the one hand, because you might be talking about something that's too personal for the other person, but on the other hand, not doing that is risky because you might decide to play it safe, and they might think, well, this person's not pushing me. They're not adding any value, so I don't want to work with them anymore. So you really don't know what people are going to find attractive or unattractive. The best thing you can do is be yourself. And the people who like that will stick with you, and the people who don't won't, and that's okay. And I decided it was okay either way. But I wanted to be honest with myself and with the client because they deserve that. They're struggling with something, and the core of what they're struggling with is this self-esteem issue. It's not what they are telling themselves it is. It's this issue. So rather than allow them to keep, pushing a rock up a hill that, is going up the wrong hill, I decided to try to enlighten them. And whether they allow themselves to be enlightened or not is up to them. And if they don't want to, then, maybe they're not the client for me. We'll find out. And also, it doesn't have to happen overnight. Like, it might take more than one session. So that's okay also.